All right, what's up, Rapsody? How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm good.
Good, good. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're still on the Rock the Bells tour and everything,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all had me on tonight.
Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Thank you.
So, could you please just tell the people who you are and what you represent, just to start off?
Yeah, I'm a MC signed to Jamla Records with Ninth Wonder out of North Carolina. I've been signed to Ninth going on, let me think, 5 years now.
Yeah,
Um,
2008.
she got
Right?
five. She Got Game is my sixth project. I've worked with a number of people, Erica Badu, Common, Big Crit, Raekwon, Kendrick Lamar, Absol. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Man, so many. It's impressive.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
So I mean, that's just a little bit about me. But, yeah.
Definitely. We'll let everyone else know, like, a little more in this interview, of course. And
Right.
we can get straight into it. In many of your interviews, you talk about how your purpose in hip hop is to represent the culture. And specifically in a Vibe interview, you said it's about culture more so than anything, or more so than money or anything. I make music for the people of the culture we're in. That comes first. If you touch the people first, the rest just falls into place. So you said, or what would you say the hip hop culture is composed of, and do you think that there are enough or too little artists such as yourself that make it a point to preserve the culture?
Um, First question: what is the culture composed of? You know, hip hop culture is a way of life, and it's specifically hip hop. It's the way you walk, how you dance, the music you listen to. It's basically about being yourself and owning that and having fun and respecting everybody else in their space. And, everybody getting along, for the purpose of community. It's all really about community. So, and the community is with the people, for the people, by the people. So that's what it's composed of, in my eyes. Do I think that there are too little artists that want to preserve the culture? I feel like as long as you're an artist and you're being true to yourself and doing something that you love and bringing something creative and new and different to the scene, whether it be by the way you DJ or your style of rap or how you dress or whatever have you, then you're doing your part. You're telling your story, you're telling somebody else's story, and that's all what it's about to me. So I feel like if you're doing that, then you're holding your own.
Definitely.
That's so sick. That's truly like a really good way to look at it. And with that being said too, in what ways do you think the culture of hip hop has shifted since the golden era?
Oh wow. It's definitely crossed borders and waterways and countries. It started out in 1973 in the Bronx, New York, in a small community, River House Project, and that's kind of where it began. But now it's a global thing that is not just confined to the radio or TV or just black culture. But it's a part of it's in Japan everywhere, and you see it in movies and on commercials. So it's definitely expanded in so many forms. It's brought people together regardless of the color of your skin or your religion or your sexual preference or whatever. So I think that's how it's expanded as far as reaching people and touching people on another level and just making us all one people that enjoy having fun and this thing we call hip hop. So I think that's how it's expanded.
Nice.
That's so cool. And with that being said too, and with you specifically speaking of you as a hip hop artist, I know you coming up. You first met Ninth Wonder in 2005 through a hip hop organization that you and some of your fellow Cooley High members started at NC State. And could you please tell us about that organization and your contributions at your school, basically?
Okay. I was one of the 5 co-founders. It was myself, Charlie Smart, Tab One, Ill Digits, Foolery, and the Synopsis. And basically what it was is, we went to NC State at like a weird time. Like I remember wanting to go there because my older sister went there, and she would come home and tell me about, for homecoming we had so-and-so, and we got to go to this club called Plum Crazy, and they were playing nothing but so-and-so. And by the time we got there, the climate and the music had changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think for homecoming one year we had a country artist. And not to say there's anything wrong with that, but, for a young student, that's not really a
Not too exciting.
Right. It was crazy, and Plum Crazy was closed. So, campus, as far as hip-hop went, was somewhat dead, and it really didn't exist. So we were like, let's just get together and have fun. So, we would throw rap battles, and, we'd have the lounge of the dorm packed out. We throw house parties, girls in free, guys bring some liquor, you can get in. We throw free concerts. It was whatever. We do things for the community and raise money. I think we raised money for J. Dilla's Lupus Foundation, and we did something for the Red Cross around the tsunami. So, we just did different events that incorporated hip-hop in it, just for everybody to have fun and to bring that back to campus. So that's kind of how it all began. And, one summer we got together and made a mixtape, and Ninth heard it, and, the rest is the future, what it is today. So
definitely. That's so inspirational.
That's so crazy.
Because I know, coming from Vegas, and we attend UNLV, obviously, we sometimes complain about not having that hip-hop culture as prominent as other places might be.
Yeah.
So to see that you guys did that is really cool. I really respect that.
He's a legend too, so I
out
can't
of all
imagine.
People.
Can't imagine how you would have felt in that situation. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was unbelievable because one, we don't have a lot of, Raleigh, North Carolina is not like a New York or California or
Exactly.
we don't have a number of big artists that made it from here. So to have Ninth Wonder come, and he's a part of Little Brother, and he's from North Carolina, and he's sitting in this house. We went to my homeboy Fuller's house. It's just like an old house, and it's probably 15 of us, and no bodyguards. He's just him by himself, and he's just kicking it. But this is probably a month before the minstrel show dropped. So he's playing Jean Grey's Genius before that leaked, and we just talk about the business. He's real humble and down to earth. So it was really crazy and inspirational, without a doubt.
That's really cool. And I know in your song, Never Fail, off the She Got Game tape, the footnote at the beginning says, Kendrick ain't mentioned no females. Rapsody, we got to change that. And it's a big, distinct voice. So now for those who don't know, we're referring to Kendrick's verse off Big Sean's Control track, obviously. So first of all, what are your thoughts about Kendrick's verse? And why don't you think that he named any female rappers?
Oh, when I first heard it, I loved it. We need that. I'm glad he did that. It's taken too long for somebody to do that. And, I didn't take it as a diss. I didn't take it as disrespectful, but it's hip-hop, and it's supposed to be competitive.
Exactly.
And what I like about it is how though he's cool with everybody in that verse, he still called everybody out by name. And, I look at it as good, healthy competition. We should all push each other to make the best music that we can make.
Mm-hmm.
Nice tell me stories about, I think it was LL. LL was working on a project. I can't remember which one. And Dr. Dre was working on one at the same time. And LL had finished his project, and then he went over to the West Coast and heard what Dr. Dre did, and came back and he completely started over. And that's how it should be now to make the best music you should make. You should hear something that scares the shit out. That scares the hell out of you.
Yeah,
that absolutely scares you. And it's yo, I've got to top this. I can't put this out. If it's not up to par, I got to make something as good as this or better. So it all pushes you to, really make great music. And that's what was so great about the 90s, is everybody pushed each other to make great music. So I love the verse. Why there weren't any females mentioned? Everybody he named, there were a number of other people we could have named, but to be on his level and, for that verse to really mean something to everybody, he named everybody that I think he needed to name. That's really at the forefront of what we're doing right now.
Okay.
And, there will be other people to come up, but he I think he did it right. He got everybody in. I can't think of anybody that I would be like, oh, you should have named this person.
Mm-hmm.
He got the legends out of the way early. He gave respect to them. And it's now these are my peers. These are everybody that's on the same level, sale-wise or, notoriety. He's known that, that's on my level. So, that's what it is.
Definitely. That's really cool. Because I know I was having a conversation with my father about it, and we were comparing it to like Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. So it was super different the way that he did it. Because, it was brutal then. It was serious. Like, I want to kill you. I want to do this. Like, it was mean. But compared to this, it was healthy competition, and it wasn't anything to be taken offense to that we were thinking.
Yeah, it was fun. I think he had fun, man. It was supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's talk about what females in the industry actually represent today. I know in an interview with The Well Versed, which is a publication that we work for, shout out to The Well Versed.
Yep.
Shout out to Andre.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. And you talked about Nicki Minaj's influence on the industry and how you wish there was more of a balance of MCs that were different from each other. So obviously Nicki Minaj exhibits a strong sexuality through her image. So how do you think this image in pop culture influences young girls, specifically black girls?
Nicki Minaj's image?
Yes.
Wow. She definitely has a fan base. It just shows one side of what sexy is to Nicki. It's nothing. What she's doing is not anything different than what Lil' Kim and Foxy
Definitely.
did. The only thing different is, you had other women out at the same time to balance it and show another side of being sexy. So, I think that was my whole thing. Like, I love Nicki. I think she's very talented, and, she's definitely needed. But, we just need, outside of, women, we need just people just to represent and just show different sides of what sexuality is and what's sexy as far as women go, about what's being a man. We all don't need to tote guns, and, we all don't have to hold the Bible on our head every time we walk. So we just need a balance in it all. So she just, she shows her side of what womanhood is to her, and, that's what it is. And little girls, some girls look up to her, the Barbie thing. So it's whatever.
No, I feel you, definitely. And you kind of got into it. What do you think about how sex is used in the industry to sell music and ultimately impact the hip-hop culture? Not just women, but, you have males artists that are at the top that talk about, certain things. What is the image that you think is projected through hip-hop culture?
It's the same thing that's, projected in America, point blank period. Whether we're talking about hip hop and music, or we're talking about movies, or we're talking about commercials that sell cigarettes, they all use women and sexuality in the same way.
Definitely.
And I think that's one thing where hip hop gets a really bad rap, or they really looked under the microscope where misogyny and just the women, but they're not doing anything that any other TV show or commercials doing. Any magazine ads you see with a woman, trying to sell lotion or men's Axe.
That's true.
Whatever happens. So, people know what it is, but, they also have to understand that goes on in America, period. So it all goes back to having balance to me. Like, we just need balance.
No, I like how you look at that. That's really interesting. And I know, you don't shy away from talking about, women's issues in your music. For example, in your song, In the Town, which follows the lives of two young prostitutes and, your image on it. Why do you think stories like these are not at the top of the charts, commonly, compared to other stories? That's a really good song, by the way, and video.
Thank you. Wow. That's my reasoning to why that is. I don't want to get really deep into it, conspiracies and all that. But
do what you gotta do.
I think at some point there's a certain agenda that's pushed for whatever reason. But the great thing about the time we're in now is, we don't, as artists, we don't necessarily need radio or TV to be successful.
True.
So at this point, we don't need record labels to be successful, because now we're at a point where, you have the power of the internet, and Twitter is like word of mouth now, and YouTube, and we can all have these apps and these things, and we can be our own music video directors and what have you, and we can record albums in our closet, and still sounds quality, like it still has that quality, where we can create our own fan base, and we drive, and we don't have to have anybody tell us what we need to make. We are our own boss, and we can do whatever we want, and that's why you have Chance the Rapper making great music, and he's not signed to the label, and TDE, this great label, and before they signed to Aftermath, they were they created their own fan base. So it's just a different time, and I think you'll see more stories like that hit radio or TV, or just be a force to reckon with, because it's just a different time now.
That's true.
And so that's just, I guess, how I look at it without getting too deep into the other side.
No, that's really cool. Appreciate that.
It's definitely like a lot of cosigns to about a lot of what you just said. We were just talking about like Chance the Rapper. He's doing a tour now, and it's crazy to really see someone do something like that without a label backing him.
Right, and it happens so much. Like the labels are behind. Like they don't even take the time to develop artists. By the time they get an artist like Chance the Rapper, like a Kendrick Lamar, like a Macklemore, we've already built our fan base, and we have everything set. So we get to call the shots now.
Definitely.
So that's the great thing about it.
And I was going to bring that up. Macklemore is like a very good example of how you don't need the charts. Just that one video, bam, and he's touring and doing all this and that, and then they sign him after, like you said. So that's true.
Right.
And what all right, back to the MC's part of things. What do you think separates you from female MCs today?
One is I don't look at myself or call myself a female MC. I never go into it.
Yeah.
I'm a female MC. I gotta talk about this for females, and I gotta be rah 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 for females. Like, with me, I want to be the best MC. Period, regardless of gender or whatever. I don't care if you sold 1 million records or you sold one. I just want to go against the best of the game and make the best music that I can make. And I think that's one thing about me that makes me different. And two, everything else that makes every other artist different from each other. I'm from North Carolina. North Carolina is different from New York or, Chicago or anywhere else. You have your own story and your own sound and your own background. Like North Carolina music, we're situated on the Middle East Coast, so we're heavily influenced by the South sound, Atlanta, Outkast, but we're also, heavily influenced by Philly and New York, and, we listen to the West Coast, so we're like this big melting pot of all that. And as far as sound go, I think that has a lot to do with it. But lyrically, I tell the story of what I see and what I go through and, what I think about. So, that separates all artists from each other, I think.
Yeah. And we recently just went to Rock the Bells, too, and it was an amazing performance that we saw. And I remember you saying that, and I really could respect that when I heard you first say that about you not just being called a female MC, but just an MC, period. We really do respect that, for real.
Yeah, the stage presence is really good. It was really good.
Y'all like the San Bernardino show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in the crowd vibing out as well. Yeah. We made sure to see that set. It was good.
That's crazy. I had a great time, and I was like, I felt like my show could have been so much better.
No, it was nice. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
You're always going to be your worst critic, but we loved it. So.
Yeah.
I know the sound went out on one of the tables. I was like, I want to call up and die.
Oh no! I don't even think I noticed. Honestly, I was in my own little world.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
See, there you go.
And once again on the music tip of things, as we were talking about, you working with like a hip hop legend. What has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned from Ninth Wonder?
Oh wow, there's so many. One of the biggest is probably work ethic. If you want to make music or anything that you want to do your life, you have to really make it your life. You have to wake up doing it, go to sleep doing it, and just constantly get work to get better and know everything about it, know the history, and really study it. So that's been one of the biggest things that's helped me He's taught me so much, about, relationships and, listening more than you talk, and, just a bunch of things. But work ethic has probably been the most important for me.
Nice. And I know in one of your interviews, I can't remember which one specifically, but you were saying, like, Ninth has done all this work and he's run so many awards, he's done this, this, and that, and he still stays up till 3 a.m. So I got to stay up till 4 or 5 a.m. because, like if he's doing that and I'm just starting out, I remember you saying that. So I respected that a lot because it's true.
Thank you. It's only right.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't want to work less, That wouldn't be.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And off topic a little bit, I know that you are a big movie head. So what are some of your favorite movies and why?
Oh, wow. So my favorite movies. More recently, this movie called Looper is one of my favorites.
That's a good one. I've seen that.
The Dark Knight trilogy. I love all of those. I'm a Christopher Nolan fan. Inception, The Color Purple, ATL, I Am Sam.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a minute. That was a good one, though.
Yes, it's a good variety. Sin City.
Whoop. Sin City represent.
I just saw Pictures the other day. That was good. So.
Nice.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, I was saying, like you said, Sin City, and that's what we represent. So I had to get excited for a minute.
No doubt.
And I know, like, in another interview, you were also saying, like, once you do get frustrated and music isn't working out, like, at the moment, you will go off and watch a movie or do something so you can come back. So that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Like, it helps with me. It helps me creatively. So sometimes you just got to walk away from overthinking it and, it just falls into place.
Definitely. And it's a different media, but it's still creativity. So I could see that.
Right. I.e. Dark Knight for Wale.
True. And it is obviously important to have knowledge about hip-hop if you want to become involved. And I know you spoke about that a little bit. And being that Ninth Wonder is also a professor, are there any good books that you have read about hip-hop culture that make you, like, understand it more?
No.
No? Or is it, like, movies that you do? Because I know you're into that. Or how do you learn about it?
I think I live it. I just live it. One, I live it, and then two, under nice, things I missed, he fills me in and he teaches me. When he has his lectures at Duke or Harvard, I'll go sit in and I'll listen, and I'll sometimes I learn something that I didn't know. A lot of times I do. So, it's just actively being a part of it and listening and studying it. Books, but I can't think of any books that I've read. I definitely watch, documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the only ones I haven't seen is The Art of Rap, or Art of Rhyme, I can't remember, with Ice-T. But, yeah, but mostly, just living it and, hearing stories or being passed down music or whatever from my older cousins and, sitting in the studio and us debating about things and just going into depth and learning more. So definitely just being an active part of it,
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely something that a lot of hip-hop fans can relate to. I've been in so many arguments about hip-hop, man. You got no idea.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
And we're gonna get into the segment of the interview called the Ill Vibe 5. Basically, we're gonna ask you like 5 quick this or that optional questions. You just pick one and move on to the next question. So, are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
For the first question, MC Light or Queen Latifah?
Man, y'all make this game so hard.
We tried hard.
Oh, my God. I'm gonna go with MC Light.
Alright.
He inspired me to want to rap. So.
For sure.
Next we got Erykah Badu or Lauryn Hill?
That's good. Wow, Lauren. Wow, that's hard. That one's hard. I can't have a tie.
You can have a tie, just because it's you.
I would say earlier on, influence-wise, Lauren, but now, Badu's been around so long, put out so much music, so I listen to her a lot now, but
Yeah.
I'll go Lauren.
Okay.
For the third one, fall or spring?
Ooh, fall.
Okay.
I like cold.
Yeah. And I know this next one, the Tar Heels or the Blue Devils?
Duke all day. Jabari Parker. Killing from the city. Watch what I say. Coach K, greatest ever.
That was easy for her.
And lastly, New York or L.A.?
Ooh. That's hard. History of music and just music and what I grew up on, New York. But I have fallen in love with LA and the people of LA, because LA reminds me kind of the South. Like it's on the West Coast for everybody that has like this Southern hospitality thing, and
True.
they're really big on the code because the gangs are real heavy over there. So the people wise, I love LA for. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very good. Well, that was the last of those questions. You did well. But anyways, let me just say before we get into the track that it was really, really hard to narrow down and pick a song for you to introduce today, because I can't name one song that I like less or more than others on She Got Game. But we did end up choosing Feel Like featuring Common, because once I heard it, I couldn't stop, like at all. I couldn't stop playing it. And I truly believe that it is like a female comparison to Common's classic, The Light. So much love to that track.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We just talked about doing a video for that one.
You should. Oh, that would make everything.
Please do.
That would make everything. Could you talk about like how that came about and how you got him on the track?
Man, look, yo. I'm to a lot of people, but Common, like, Common, Mos Def, Jay, and Lauren probably had the biggest influences on me out of anybody.
Definitely.
So that's okay. I did the track. I did the first and second verse, and I wasn't thinking of a feature. But we were talking one day, and the hook, and it feel like love. I was like, yo, that's like a Common thing. I got that from Common. And Knife was like, yeah, he sound dope on it. So Knife was like, I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he'll get on it. I was like, wow, but I ain't thinking nothing of it. Like, Common, he's in movies now. I'm just like, it's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But Knife hit him, and he's like, send me the song, and we sent it. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And that, like, it was easy as that. We didn't do it in the studio together because that was probably the last feature I was working on. The tape was originally supposed to come out earlier, but Common was shooting 2 movies over the summer, so I kept pushing it back. I didn't care how long I had to push it back. I was
You're getting that feature.
But we waited for it. We got it, and I did get to meet him. He did a lecture down here in North Carolina at North Carolina Central, and I went. It was a dope lecture, and I met him afterwards. And one of the most humble, down-to-earth dudes I probably met out of anybody outside of Ninth in the industry. Like, just really down-to-earth, really good person. We talked. I told him I was a big fan or whatever. And he said, yo, I got you on that verse. He was like,
wow.
My word is my bond. Like, don't even worry about it. I'm going to do it. And I was like, man, it's all good. I don't care if you don't do it or not. I'm just, I'm glad I got to meet you. Like, I understand you're busy, so that meant a lot to me. So he's really good people.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's really a blessing, though, for real. You being able to work with, like, the likes of Common, Ninth Wonder, etc. That's really a blessing.
And not even just them. You had, like, Raekwon on your tape on She Got Game too. Like, you have so many huge names and people that impact culture now. So it was just like every single track, it was just too much. It really was.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I sit back and get overwhelmed sometimes at all that I've done, and I sit back. I'll be in the studio and it's like I'll snap out of it for a minute. It's like, wow, I'm sounding Ninth Wonder. Like. Mm-hmm. Get any beat I want, whenever I want. I hoard his beat.
Yeah. And that's cool. You have that's crazy.
Definitely a blessing.
But anyways, we wanted to get right into your track, and we hope that you could give us a little taste of it and introduce it for the people. We got Feel Like. We're going to play it for everyone.
What's up, Ill Vibe listeners? This is Rapsody. This is my joint off She Got Game, featuring the legendary Common, produced by my man Cash from the Soul Council. Check it out.